Hello and welcome. My name is Teresa from the blog and YouTube channel freetoflower.com, where I share our simple life on our European farm, from scratch cooking, raising animals, homestead life, growing your own food, and all of that great stuff. Today I am doing all things strawberries. It is officially strawberry season. We went strawberry picking a few days ago, and I have an abundant supply of strawberries in my house, which means everything is going to include strawberries this week. I am making a bunch of different recipes. Some of them are my favorites, some of them are brand new to me, but have still turned out amazing. And I am taking you along today for the ride to play with me in the strawberry games and take a look at what else is happening on the homestead. Come along! Before we jump into all the strawberry recipes, if you find any value in this video, please hit the subscribe button so that you never miss a new video. I publish a new one every single week. All right, first thing that I did was dehydrate some strawberries. I recently got a new dehydrator, and so I've been experimenting with pretty much all the things that are possible to dehydrate, and strawberry slices were one of them. This was a massive success. I was able to preserve a whole bunch of them. It's super simple. You just slice them into thin slices, pop them in the dehydrator, and then they come out as these strawberry crisps or dried slices that you can either reconstitute with some water, rehydrate, or you can just eat them as they are. They're delicious. I plan on eating them throughout the winter months. Next, I froze some strawberries. This is super straightforward. You have two ways of doing this. You can either freeze whole strawberries, or you can cut them up into quarters or whatever pieces work for you and your needs. Pop them into a freezer bag and into the freezer. Really easy, and those are going to come in so handy in the wintertime, but also for making some homemade strawberry ice cream, which is actually not part of this video. I did make strawberry popsicles, but not ice cream yet. I made strawberry ice cream before with fresh strawberries, and let me just tell you, the difference between using fresh strawberries and frozen strawberries is ginormous. So hugely recommend freezing your strawberries before you put them into your ice cream maker. But I digress. Let's get back to what I'm doing over here. All right, another great way of preserving your strawberries is making homemade strawberry jam. I've done this many times, and actually I watched my family members make this when I was growing up every single year. My dad loved homemade strawberry jam, and so this is something we made year after year after year. Now, I know there's many different ways that people go about preserving, and there's many opinions, so don't judge, but this is the traditional Czech way, and I actually find it really simple and really delicious. The ingredients are simple. It's just sugar, whatever is in that sachet, which I actually forget, but I'm gonna list it in the recipe on my blog. I'll pop it up in the description box down below. You mix everything according to the instructions, blend it all together, let it boil for just a little bit, about 5 minutes. Then you skim off the foam off the top, and you put it into your prepared jars. And that is pretty much it. You will then seal each jar, pop it upside down while your jam is still hot, and this will solidify and it will attach the lid. Is that even the right word? I'm not even sure that's the right lingo, but basically this will do the trick. There's going to be a vacuum created inside, and your jam is going to be preserved. No need to do any more steps. I know it's kind of hard to believe, but we've done this for literally years and years and years and years, and every single time it works out. All right, next up are these strawberry popsicles. Those were a massive hit with my toddler. He loved them, and there are only 2 or 3 ingredients in them, so they're really simple, really fast to make. He actually had a bike crash a few weeks after I made this recipe, and the only thing that would soothe him right after was one of these popsicles. And it was just so nice knowing that they're homemade and I know exactly what the ingredients are, and yet he loves them so much and they're such a special treat. Speaking of treats, okay, this was my first time. I have never made fruit leather before, and to be honest, I was extremely skeptical. When I was pouring this into my trays and popping it into the oven, I thought this is never gonna work. And I will tell you, and I will put this into the blog post with the full recipe, the times I found extremely inaccurate. I had to leave this in the oven for much longer than the original recipe indicated, but I will update all of this so that you know exactly what to expect. I will say these were absolutely delicious. We loved them, and they kept in the fridge for a long time. They tasted like sour candy, and they were just so yummy. All right, interrupting strawberry games for a minute because I got a new cast iron pan. If you're new to cast iron, here is a little word from me. Do not get enameled cast iron. I got a really fancy schmancy, nice brand, European, really expensive enameled cast iron pan. And guys, it is useless. It does not work at all. I researched this so much to see if we're doing something wrong. We are not doing anything wrong. I just don't think it's a very good system. So I ended up going with what would have been my first choice had I not been persuaded to get something quote unquote nicer. I just got a plain old cast iron skillet. I'll link one just like it in the description box below. And I love that it needed to be seasoned, so it is not pre-seasoned. I'm going through the seasoning process over here. There's 3 rounds of it being in the oven, coated in oil. We've now been using it for about a month, and it works like a charm. Oh my goodness, non-stick, fries an egg perfectly. Can't even compare to the enameled one. I will not name the brand. I don't think that's really a nice thing to do, but let's just say it's a really old school, famous European brand, and I was so disappointed. Probably one of my favorite strawberry recipes that I made, although I think I said that about every single one so far, were these sourdough strawberry muffins. We brought these to a gathering that my son and I went to, and they were such a hit. Everybody finished them off right away, and I snuck one and saved it to have it with my coffee. And it was just so delicious. What I sometimes don't like about muffins is that they can be pretty dry, and you almost have to have them with a hot beverage in order for them not to get stuck in your throat. Well, these strawberry muffins were nothing like that. They were poofy, delicious, super moist, and just so nice. Such a lovely treat. Even in the summer when it's pretty hot, they weren't too sweet, which is something that I really love. And obviously they are sourdough, so they're harnessing all the health benefits of the natural fermentation process and naturally occurring yeast and other gut-loving bacteria. The full recipe, including all the measurements and directions, is going to be up on my blog, freetoflour.com. I will link it in the description box below so that you can go and pin it for later on Pinterest, so you can find it later when you're searching for that recipe you'd like to make, or you can go ahead and print it out or save it to your bookmarks, whatever it is that you do. I know for me, whenever I watch a YouTube video, I always think, wow, that looks delicious. I definitely want to make that. Ooh, I'm putting that on my list. And then when the video ends and I have to run or it's time to go to sleep, I always forget what it is that I wanted to make. Then the time comes when I want to bake something or make something delicious for my family, and I can never find the recipe that I saw. If you're like me, the best way to go about this is to pin it for later. So you can just click the link in the description box below. It'll take you to my blog, freetoflour.com. You can pick any other pictures and hit the little Pinterest button in the corner. It'll save it to your Pinterest board, super easy. And then whenever you're ready to go bake these muffins or something else, you'll find it in one spot. This year was my first year that I ever went strawberry picking at an actual strawberry farm. I was thinking it was going to be a bunch of work and we're going to spend hours there, but it was just me and a friend of mine, and we were done in about 45 minutes, and we picked about 6 kilos of strawberries. I don't know off the top of my head how much that is in pounds, but it was like 3 massive baskets, and then we actually went back for some more, and it was a really nice experience. It was actually pretty relaxing. There was just a handful of other people there. There was a little bit of a drizzle falling, which was actually really nice because we weren't that hot, and we were left with just the freshest strawberries that I've ever had, minus the ones from my own garden, but I find that there's never that many from my own garden compared to this strawberry farm. All right, the last thing that I am making today from all those strawberries, although there are so many other things that I could make and would want to make and will make, and when I do, you can find them all on my blog. Here is strawberry ginger kombucha. This was delicious. I loved the flavor. We are huge kombucha fans. By the way, if you've never made kombucha before and would like to, I wrote a whole ebook on how to brew kombucha and how to make your first brew. So it'll be linked in the description box below. You can go and download it right away and start making kombucha. Kombucha is delicious. It's like a soda alternative if you're not familiar. It's fizzy, but it's probiotic, so it's good for you. And if you let it ferment for the right amount of time, it's not even that sweet. What I love most about it is that you can get creative with the flavors. So I always try something new, and this time I obviously made it with strawberries. Pro tip, always add ginger in your kombucha. No matter what flavor combination you're doing, always try to sneak in some ginger. It'll make your kombucha fizzier. Now I have so many more kombucha tips. I've been making kombucha for 8 or 9 years now, very regularly, and I think I've got it pretty much figured out to a T. So if you would like to know some of my other tips, or if you would like to know what equipment you need or what some good flavor combinations are, you'll find all of those in that free ebook that I mentioned. I also have a bunch of kombucha recipes on my blog, feedtoflower.com. I will link some of my favorites for you down below. My secret ingredient in this particular kombucha was basil. This is something that I tried for the first time last year, and it was delicious. So I try to add basil to a lot of my kombucha flavors as well. And here it paired perfectly with the strawberry and ginger. It was fizzy, sweet, but not too sweet. And the basil just added that little extra flavor. Another little tip, if you like your kombucha extra fizzy, make sure to fill your bottles all the way up to the top, basically as high as they will go, leaving as little air on the top as possible. The less air, the more fizz. Also, flip top bottles are going to trap more of the air in, or more of the gases in, and make your kombucha fizzier. But, word of caution, with flip top bottles, I mean, you should probably do this with all kombucha bottles, but definitely with flip top bottles, you do have to release them once in a while. Otherwise, I have had a bottle almost explode in my pantry before, and believe you me, you don't want that to happen. We collected so many strawberries, and yes, I made all the things, and yet I was surprised how quickly we ran through that enormous amount. There were still other recipes that I wanted to try and wanted to make, but I guess I'll have to wait till next time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please hit the subscribe button if you want to know more about our simple life on our European farm. Till next week.